suppose it's back to the city then.
Film transition is a technique which is used in post-production process of film editing and also video editing, by which scenes or shots are combined. This is done through a normal cut to the next scene. There are many kinds of transitions. Of course there is the simple, straight cut, but there are others like dissolve, slide, wipe and fades, such as a fade to black or a fade to white. You would not use a transition halfway through a shot when someone was conversing. A Soviet montage is where you manipulate the mind of the viewer. In October, 10 days that the world shook, they had one clip of a man holding a grenade and throwing it to a crowd of people and a small explosion, giving the audience to believe that it had been done at the same time and place. A straight cut is basically what it says in the name. It literally is a straight cut. It's a basic cut. This can be mainly used in action films for fast editing. When using a straight cut, it isn't just a visual effect, it is also used as a physical effect too, especially in fast moving scenes like James Bond, for example. You would not use a straight cut in a dream kind of video unless it was a nightmare, although you can still film this in a dream scene. Pace and timing is where you can have really short scenes which could only last a few seconds. Depending on what the scene actually is and also the genre of the film, action movies tend to use fast pace and time their films to give a more physical reaction. The difference of a slow paced film like The 400 Blows, although there is a scene which is quite slow, it is also very silent, giving an effect that the audience knows he should not be there. Although when we look at James Bond's Casino Royale, we can see that there are some shots which you may only see for 2 seconds. The tempo is the space between each beat. So what happens between each shot? It would usually have 2 clips. Tempo can also go into the short length because of the speed of the shot taken. To join images, you use different shots to make the audience think a certain event has happened. For example, in Psycho, they had used little pieces of film with different shot types to make the audience believe that she had been murdered. The orchestration had helped give the scene a more dramatic effect. It had both forte and piano notes, and to give extra shock, they had used tremolo of violin and then a brass instrument to give more effect. When you cut to music, you would have various amounts of clips at different shots and angles. It gives it a more exciting view for the audience. Some would also do this in trailers to make the viewer want to watch it.
Oh, how I've missed you, Holmes. I see your web of conspiracy has expanded.
I'm knee-deep in the single most important case of my career. The clues point in one direction.
Professor James Moriarty.
Are you sure you want to play this game? I'm afraid.
To do this in Premiere Pro, you would use a particular tool called a marker. This can help you know where to place the clip you want to in a specific beat to the music.
You fear me, amorous, don't you?
Editing in spaces can be essential when it comes to editing the final product. It is used to make the audience believe that the actors or actor and object are in the same space and the time through the editing. You can also use it through objects and actors.
Hurry!
Cutaways are used to hear and see the story someone is thinking about. It is used as different points of interest. It could also work as a bridging shot. Although when using a cutaway you would want to avoid jump cut of the same person, arranging the orders of events, you have one facial expression, such as a happy face, and then have a scene of a mother and a baby, making the person seem like a nice person. But if you replace the mother and baby with someone dead on the floor and the same facial expression, it would completely change the aspect view of the character scene, making the person seem rather creepy and psychotic.
Don't you know what a kiss is?
I shall know when you give me one.
A shot reverse shot is used to someone's reactions. This technique is frequently used in interviews. Although it can also be used in films when two characters are having a conversation. When two characters have a conversation, or even in interviews, there is an imaginary line. This is called the line of action, which you should never cross. If you were to cross the line of action, you would have to film it, since the camera is the viewer in the scene.
Thank you. How old are you, Peter?
Quite young.
Don't you know?
I ran away. One night, I heard my mother and father talking of what I was to be when I became a man. So, I ran away.
Continuity is when the story must flow. The viewer is never distracted by awkward jumps between shots, although even in professional films, sometimes objects move from their original place.
Hook is all alone. You too. Vanished. The dog.
The eye line match is trajectory of the looking eye. It is also used to see what the character is viewing. So if your character is looking up, you would then have a slow shot of the object or person it is viewing.